good afternoon and welcome to Live Impact News right here on 13 News Now Plus. It is 1 o'clock p.m., April 9th, and it is Thursday, a.k.a. Friday Eve, a.k.a. you've made it. You're here. We're in the second half of the week, but that doesn't mean we don't have a ton of news to get to. A lot has been happening throughout the day. We anticipate a lot still to come, but we cannot go through any of that. We cannot even begin to dip our toe in the pool that is today's headlines without a big up to the People's Producer, Nia Campbell, for hanging out with us today. What's going on, Nia?
Nothing's going on. I'm just excited it's Friday Eve.
Friday Eve, one of our favorites, and that round of applause you heard in the background was meteorologist Hunter Forst. And Hunter, go ahead. Give yourself a hand, Hunter. Give yourself a hand.
No, you know what I was thinking? What
What's
we
that?
need in here
What's that?
is the button to
Yeah.
give a round of applause.
Oh, we do. We need a number of sound effects. Maybe a burr, burr, burr,
The
burr.
soundboard that people be having in their streams.
Yeah.
Love.
We need that.
Okay.
And I think management would be on board. We could ask.
Could you ask?
Nia will ask.
Nia? If you don't mind, Nia, that'd be great.
This is our official ask because I'm sure they're watching.
That's right. Yes, please. If you could we do a one shot? We would really, really love a board with no less than 96 sound effect options, including a round of applause for Hunter Forst, who's here to give us the forecast
Oh,
today.
guys. Nia didn't clap.
There we go. There we go. We got it going on. Now, Hunter, a little bit chilly still. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
chilly, but it's not totally warm again yet.
You know, I was outside for a minute earlier, and I was on my phone, unfortunately. You know, you shouldn't live on your phone, but, you know, this is just the world we're in. I was walking-
Random existential thoughts from Hunter Forst. Okay.
I was standing at my car door waiting to get, just because I was looking at something, but I didn't get into my car yet, so I was just standing there.
Now
looking at
that is a
something.
problem. Is
And-
that you got frozen outside of your car door, just stuck on your phone?
Well, because I was like, oh, I just want to see this, before whatever, you know.
Okay. Before you get
But then,
into the car.
but then I was like, oh, I got to get inside. It's freezing.
Yeah. So that was a story to show us how cold it is
Yeah,
outside.
I'm not able to, stand outside comfortably right now,
I think that
unfortunately.
if your hand is on the door handle, then you have got to get in, put the phone down and get in, and then resume your watching.
Well, I didn't put my hand on the door handle yet.
You were just kind of standing outside.
I was kind of just standing at the door.
All right, keep your eyes on that 13 News Now parking lot. He's not locked out, he's just hanging out, watching a couple more videos before getting in the car.
It was, I don't even remember what it was.
That's okay. That's okay.
So obviously it wasn't important.
That's okay. Now, was it around 50, high 50s, 58, 59 degrees? Is that what we're looking at here?
Yeah, we should be in the upper 50s today.
Yeah.
Still below average, but warmer than yesterday. So we're moving in the right direction. It's a nice day. There's a few people at the beach, but we've seen it more packed.
Oh, man, yesterday, this day a week ago, packed. Very, very empty beach compared to that. You see how far out the waves are starting to break,
Yeah.
as opposed to maybe a little closer to shore. Does that speak to the wind?
It is still a bit breezy.
Yeah.
And we have a bit of the non-shore flow again as well.
Okay.
So seeing a bit of chop there. And right now, it's only 53 at the airport.
Yeah, chilly.
So it's chilly.
Below average for early April, right?
Yeah, we should be around 67, 68.
Okay.
So, unfortunately. And we should get to 50, up to the upper 50s today. A few of us have made it already. But, it's still cool closer to the coast with that onshore breeze. It's just not doing us any favors out there right now. But satellite radar, we are looking good. Just a few clouds. And it's going to be staying like this for a while. We really have no rain chances over the next week, which is not great because we're in a moderate drought for a lot of the area. So we need rain, and it's just going to get worse over the next week because not only are we just not going to have any rain, but we're also going to be seeing temperatures really warm next week. But bless you. But for
Thank
this
you.
evening, temperatures getting into the upper 50s to low 60s by 5, 6 o'clock. You'll have a nice drive home tonight. And as we head into Friday morning, 7 o'clock, not bad. Still another cool start to the day. You know, in the low 40s for some of us inland. And by the afternoon, lunchtime, 1 o'clock, we should get back into the low 70s.
It's interesting to me watching that progression where in Virginia Beach, it was 55 in the morning and it just stayed 55, whereas everything else shot up to the low 70s. Virginia Beach, just that water, that temperature coming off the water, just keeping it chilly out there.
It doesn't do you any favors this time of year. That's for sure.
So if you're inland to Virginia Beach, maybe will it feel a little closer to 65, 70?
Yeah, you'd be a bit warmer for sure.
Okay, gotcha.
But the ocean front is just going to be, it'll be cool. But then by Friday night, not looking bad. You know, mid to upper 60s, 7 o'clock at night. Any dinner plans should be looking pretty good.
Very nice.
And then we head into, any guesses?
And then going into Saturday, we're making our way. So this is 7:15 Saturday. I'm going to guess that by 8:15 Saturday, we're over 60 degrees. Ooh, so close.
So close.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Wow.
Very close.
But 8:15, like this is, now I can go outside for a walk in the morning.
Totally.
Last couple of mornings, no. But pushing 60 for sure. And by the afternoon, we should get back into the low 70s. It'll be a really nice weekend. Mostly sunny. It'll be warm, a comfortable start in the morning, comfortable in the afternoon, and pretty much the same deal on Sunday. Don't have to worry about any showers or storms like we did last weekend. Last Sunday was Easter, and we had 4, 5 severe thunderstorm warnings during the afternoon and evening. So it was busy Easter. But luckily this weekend, we will not have to worry about that. It's going to be really nice both days. Here's a look at the 7-day rain outlook. Really nothing.
And we need rain.
We need rain.
We need it. And especially, so we had rain on Sunday, so it feels like we just had rain. But that was such a brief flash of rain.
We did get a good amount. We got,
Okay.
over an inch in a few spots, but we're still in a deficit for the year. So we still need a bit more rain. I could show you the drought monitor. Florida is in a really, really bad drought as well.
This is nationwide that we're having some drought conditions.
yeah.
Is that right? Oh, my gosh.
Florida is the worst.
The only places really being spared here is up near the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Now, a little bit of a giggle from Naya there over Florida is the worst. That's only when it comes to drought conditions, Naya.
Right.
Not in general. This is Naya Campbell, Jacksonville, Duval.
I love Florida.
Stand up. We would never do that. We would never do that
Were
in
you trying
Florida.
to look for a word for us?
University of Tampa
Floridian?
grad.
Yep.
Huh?
Were you trying to look for the word? Like
Floridian?
Yeah.
No, I was just tossing buzzwords out there.
Oh.
Yeah, just getting generally excited.
But yeah, that drought is crazy in Florida.
Yeah, it's not good. Here, it's not as bad as Florida, but we're still in a moderate drought for the south side, eastern North Carolina. That's that tan color. That yellow color, the abnormally dry conditions, that was good last week. There was nothing, no color filled in. But this week, we're going in the wrong direction. Abnormally dry over there. Extreme drought around Roanoke Rapids and Rocky Mount. And a severe drought for central Virginia down into North Carolina. So, rain would be great. But
It is
unfortunately,
well needed. Now, when we have those drought conditions around this area, is there anything what does that lead to? What are we looking at? Is that more of a
things start to
impact
dry
us?
out really quickly.
Right.
It could enhance a fire risk as well. So, of course, and then, people are using more water to, water their plants that they're just starting to plant into the garden, their fruit or their vegetables. So, when you get into like the extreme and exceptional drought for a long period of time, that's when you could really start to get into like those water restrictions. But yeah, of course, it doesn't lead to anything good when, the drought is prolonged. Right now, we're not, in the worst spot. It's not the worst, but of course,
Still drought conditions.
still drought nonetheless. But look at that.
Wow.
We even got a wow from Nia Campbell, one of our notorious cold weather fans.
Yeah.
And we still got a wow from Nia Campbell because of how great
She's
that.
excited.
No, that wasn't a good wow.
Oh, that was
Oh.
a bad wow.
Yeah.
That sounded like a real optimistic wow from
Once
where
we're
I'm
hitting
standing.
90, that's just too hot, guys.
Okay.
It's just too hot.
And I've heard the 90s say nothing but good things about you. So that's
This is-
crazy.
I have beef with the 90s. I'm not even
Oh.
a 90s baby.
Sounds like a one-way beef. Sounds
But
like a
still, but
one-way beef.
Like, the 90s are like, oh, I love Nia. She's so cool. She has great style. And I'm like, I know, right? But now Nia's like, I hate the not rude.
You heard the flex she tossed on the end of that sentence too.
That
Not
she's
even
not a 90s baby.
not even a 90s baby. And she
80s.
ain't talking about the 80s. Oh, that was a how dare you laugh right there.
No, it was not. You're going to have people hating me.
Now,
2000s.
regardless of Nia's beef with the 90s,
That's all right.
We're headed that direction.
Connor and I will give compliments to the 90s.
The 90s, it's a friend of a friend situation.
Yeah.
We're your friend. The 90s is our friend.
Yeah.
So, we can all kind of make this work.
See, I'm a
Okay.
mid-90s baby, so
Maybe that's why y'all like it so much.
maybe.
People born in the 90s like the Heat?
Yeah.
Maybe. Sounds like a study.
It does.
Sounds like a research project. Whoever conducts it, we will then have them on Live Impact News to talk about their findings. In the meantime, we got a great outdoor weekend. We had a guest on yesterday, Nia, who said getting outside during the springtime is good for your cognitive health. This is a perfect weekend and week to make that happen.
I mean, I couldn't agree more.
Well, but you got to leave your phone inside, though, Hunter.
Well,
We can't have you standing at the car on the scrolling. You can't be doom scrolling standing
I wasn't
at the
doom
car.
scrolling. I was just doing something important for work.
Right. That's what it sounded like based on your storytelling. All right. Now what else what else do we need to know? What else is going on?
Well, so if we do hit 90 next week, it'll be a little bit earlier than usual. Normally we get on average, see our first 90-degree day, the second-ish week of May. But over the last 2 years, we've hit 90 degrees in April. Last year was April 6th, so it was really early. Year before that on the 15th of April, but in 2023, we had to wait all the way until July 1st. So it wouldn't be, out of the ordinary to see a 90-degree day next week. So we'll see. We'll see. But tonight, though, it's not going to be anywhere near that. Actually, we'll be half of that in Norfolk, 45 degrees. 37 in Boykins tonight, 38 in Windsor, 47 in Virginia Beach, 40 in Chesapeake. So it'll be another chilly night, 30s and 40s. 42 in Williamsburg, 46 in Cape Charles, 46 in Hampton, 43 in Windsor, 46 in Elizabeth City, 50 in Manio. And again, tomorrow, a really nice end to the work week. Upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. And take a snapshot of this 7-day. I mean, it's just really nice.
So much uniformity in the graphics there. Sunshine with a little bit of cloud all the way through. The full sunshine and not a drop of moisture.
Not a drop.
Not
Is there a difference between the cloud that's above the sun?
Those are like high clouds.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
Clouds that are high
And then the low ones.
or clouds that are low.
What's the difference? Like the lower ones.
the
provide
clouds that
more
are
shade?
lower, it's like mostly sunny cumulus clouds, and then the high clouds are more, kind of cirrus type, thin wispy clouds.
And then Monday's cloud is bigger because it's going to be more cloud
Yeah.
coverage. See, I know what I'm talking about.
You do.
meteorologist Nia in the house.
Yeah.
Nia, if you don't like the 90s, what is your favorite decade of temperature?
I would say 70s.
70s.
I could deal with
75 is
that.
perfect.
Okay, good. I'll take it. Yeah, 70s works. 75.
So you're going to be
Is
really
ideal.
enjoying this weekend. Low
Yes.
70s.
And I have a slam-packed weekend. as
What you
well.
got? What you
Oh.
got going on, Nia?
Oh, we don't have to get into
Well,
The
all
people
Connor and
wanna know what
Connor
you're
and
up
I don't have
to.
much going on.
I have been checking my
curious.
inbox incessantly for
I haven't
invites
gotten a
from Nia
single
Campbell.
text.
Did you get a text? Maybe we
Nothing.
missed it.
Jam-packed, and we're not even included in anything? That's crazy.
Yeah. What do you got going on? Now's the time. We'll
Now's
take
the time.
We'll take in-person invites.
Yeah.
I must share.
You don't must do anything. you can do it. Wow, no, Hunter, it is clear that we have not been invited on these weekend activities, but that's okay because we cherish our time during the week with Nia Campbell anyway. And so we'll just have to be okay with that.
I may not be able to join anyway. I'm working a double on
You're working a double, and we both got free texting, so anytime you do want to reach out, no big deal. It's fine.
Gotcha.
And Hunter, the gotcha, a very terse gotcha. Now, what we do have is the ability to reach out to Hunter Forrest anytime we need weather updates. This one has been fantastic. Hunter, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming in. And did I go before the 7-day again?
No, we got the 7-day.
We got the 7-day.
Remember, I was like, look how nice it is.
Right. We're getting our timing down. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything that you do here.
Thank you, everybody.
Will we see you at 4 o'clock?
Nope.
No, you're off. You're out of here.
I'm out of here.
Okay.
But you'll see me tomorrow at 4.
We'll see you tomorrow at 4. Thank you for sticking around for a couple extra minutes for us
You're so
today.
welcome.
Hunter Forrest, everybody, meteorologist extraordinaire in the building. Now, as Hunter makes his way out, we're going to make our way to a brief commercial break. When we get back, we've had breaking news here in Hampton Roads today. This morning, Derek Lytle was in Newport News at a press conference with Newport News Police. We are going to have him here in studio for an update on that story coming up next. All right, welcome back to Live Impact News here on 13 News Now Plus. About 1:19 p.m., and we are going to move into the big breaking local news that we got this morning here in Hampton Roads. Tragic breaking news that we got this morning here in local news. Now, Newport News Police confirmed this morning in a press conference that missing Newport News teenager Marwa Barakzai has indeed been found dead. Now, she was found dead on April 6th in Mariners Lake. Obviously, autopsies and different identification procedures have been taking place over the last few days they now are able to identify that body found in Mariners Lake on April 6th is indeed missing 16-year-old Marwa Baraksai. Tragic news for the whole community and the Baraksai family, of course. And our own Derek Lytle was there at the press conference this morning. And Derek, the emotion in that room was palpable, even just watching it live here at the studio. Can you, before we dig into details, tell us what it felt like in there?
Yeah, often, hey, Connor, the times you go to the press conferences like that, you have law enforcement, you have leadership from, cities there that with tons of people wanting answers. And this was a specific case where you could tell that the police chief, Steve Drew, over there at Newport News, had a significant tie to this family over the last 3 weeks. It's now 3 weeks to the day that she went missing today. And you could hear a pin drop when he gathered his thoughts after every question from media of how he wanted to respond. And, he said he had tea over at their house. He became friends with the family, the parents, while the search was going on. This is a community over in Newport News near that lake where, people were doing their own canvassing and search efforts and, dozens of text messages every day of where is she, what could have happened. And now to kind of finally have these answers, it's not the answer that anybody in this case would have wanted, but there's a sense of how do you move forward to any type of healing as you go through that journey now finding her. A lot of questions for the chief today, but one of the most impactful things I got out of it was when he mentioned that he personally drove to the scene Monday evening when her body was seen, and actually helped carry her from the lake up the embankment, and said he wanted to do everything he could to be there for that family as they try to find answers. Other takeaways, Connor, from this is that family has had to wait since Monday, all the tension and nerves of not knowing officially if it was her. Chief did say the body, the clothes she went missing in did resemble those clothes on the body they had found Monday. But that official word coming to the family yesterday afternoon, a lot of emotions from everybody in the community. I know the mosque over there in the conversations I've had over the week with everyone that's been praying for the family. It's just a lot to unpack. I think the one takeaway Chief Drew had, if you can take any solace in such a disturbing loss, is the fact that there was no signs of sexual assault. There was no signs of harm or foul play that somebody may have done to this child. So, that then poked the question to Chief Drew of, hey, how did she die? And there's a lot of questions here that may take several months to get to, but out of the respect for the family, he didn't necessarily want to go and jump out and say, hey, she took her own life or anything like that. The ME's office hasn't even made a cause of death. They're waiting on tox screenings. That'll take 6 to 8 weeks. So just a lot to unpack there, Connor.
Yeah, of course. And we've been following this closely for those 3 weeks. And we'll go backwards really quickly. The circumstances of her disappearance. She asked to be dropped off at a different bus stop than her usual one. She discarded her school-issued laptop, and then she walked away. She was last seen by police technology at the embankment of Gatewood and Warwick Boulevard. And one question that Chief Drew kind of said was a major mystery to him, she had tried multiple times in multiple ways to get to that area. Why did she want to go there? Is there any more information we were able to learn about all these sort of strange circumstances that surrounded her disappearance originally?
Yeah, I mean, and where the bus dropped her off was on Fontaine Road there, and so when you look it up on the maps, it's less than a half mile from that lake. So I don't know if, maybe she came across that lake every single day and passing by or on her way to school, but she did ask that school bus driver to drop her off at a different location than her normal route. And, I when this first happened, I reached out to the school division, like, hey, is this typical? Can bus drivers just make that last minute call? And it's really at the discretion of the student. They said there was no wrongdoing according to their code with the bus driver. This is like if a student's needs are different that day, let's drop them off there. But yeah, the last... because when they initially did the searching, they had boats with sonar, they had bloodhounds, they canvassed this entire wooded area.
You said drones at one point.
Drones,
yeah.
But the sonar with boats, this is a large, lake. It's not just a small effort. But, in my mind, it poked the interest of, we had that massive storm Sunday afternoon, and then she was found Monday. Maybe that storm helped find the body in some type of way. Anything you can take from, a 16-year-old passing away is at least maybe the family can be with her again. I know the Islamic community there is pretty strong, and they've already made arrangements to lay her to rest tomorrow afternoon. So I got to imagine that's going to be pretty powerful for them. Just a big thing that they had said is, people are born and people pass away, and so they're trying to celebrate her in a way, if that it kind of comes across from them. So
of course, and being able to at least have the knowledge of today. Obviously, you hope for a different outcome, but rather than the mystery of never knowing what happened, or I guess we may never know exactly what happened even still now, but being able to recover the body, obviously immeasurably painful, but does provide a certain level of answer. And you've been on this for some time. Have we gotten any word have you been able to speak to family or representatives for the family today or last night even?
Yeah, I talked to I wished I had texted the dad yesterday morning before we officially knew and just gave him my prayers, and he's just been, I'm sure, nervous and just trying to wait and see if it was his daughter. But that family rep did talk to us last night. He just shared with me that they went to be with the family, and Chief Drew and their entire staff went to deliver them the news yesterday about 3 p.m, and then shortly after that they made us all aware. The family did. So the thing I've gotten from them is they've been grateful for how many people in their community, even random strangers, have been caring about this case. But a lot of people, even from their mosque, local, like hundreds, almost 1,000 text messages to their family rep, just, hey, do we know if it's her? Like, is this her? And just the scary part of not knowing, did somebody harm her? Did somebody kill her? So at least those signs of no foul play, I want to say, is a takeaway of something positive in such a terrible case. But yeah.
And even now talking here, we still, the search for answers, the search for closure, in the midst of such a sort of a tragic and devastating time.
Well, and Marwa may have some of those answers, so it may never come to light what she was thinking in those final moments. And
I believe the chief said something as to what was in her heart, what was in her head, is something that we'll never totally know. And ultimately, that is tragic as well. Is there anything else that we need to know?
No, just as it wraps up, they just want to make sure the family has their privacy to grieve and do that peacefully. And then those talk screenings take time. They take weeks, so that might develop something in about 2 months or so to look out for. But.
Okay. We know you'll keep us updated on this. You've done a great job covering this story. I'm sure we can expect to see you at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll be there. Yep.
He'll be there. Yep. So if you want a more sort of full-scale summary of today's events and this story overall, 4 o'clock, 13 News Now, 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock as well. Derek, we appreciate you coming in and hanging with us for a little bit.
Appreciate you guys, Connor.
Absolutely. Yep. Derek Lytle, been covering this story very closely for weeks, and now today, another major step in what is a devastating and tragic story for the Barakzai family and the Newport News community. Now, Naya, I know that we have portions of that press conference. Do we want to play a little bit of that press conference so that we can give a sense of the situation that we've been talking about here for the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, that works with me.
Okay, we're going to play a little bit of this press conference. We likely won't play the entire thing. We've still got a lot to cover. But for now, let's go out to this recorded video from Newport News from earlier today.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Philip Jones, and sadly, we are here today to share an update regarding the body retrieved from Mariners Lake behind Riverside Regional Medical Center. As a result of the medical examiner's identification, the Newport News Police Department has identified the deceased as 16-year-old Marwa Barakzai. Marwa has been missing since March 19th after she was last seen getting off her school bus at approximately 6 p.m. Today, our entire community is grieving the loss of one of our own. We extend our deepest condolences to Marwa's family, friends, classmates, and anyone who feels the weight of this tragedy. She was 16 years old, with her whole life ahead of her, and as a new parent, I cannot begin to imagine the pain that her parents and family must be suffering at this devastating loss. This is not the outcome that any of us had hoped for. Marwa's family worked very close with Chief Drew, the entire Newport News Police Department, the governor's office, FBI, state police, and members of our community in an effort to bring her home. Thank you to everyone involved who worked tirelessly on this case and with this family. As mayor, I often think in moments like this, we must come together as a community to uplift one another and to support each other the best that we can. We ask that you please respect this family's privacy at this time as they mourn this unimaginable loss. At this time, we'll turn it over to Chief Drew to talk more about this and then take questions. Thank you. Chief.
Thanks for being here today. Good morning. My heart's heavy today to break this news to this community. As I sit with Marwa's family the last 2 days, one sharing the possibility and yesterday the confirmation of the loss of their daughter. It's something I would never wish anyone to have to do. But in this profession, that's often what we're required to do. The mayor mentioned that the last time we saw Marwa was 3 weeks ago tonight. On April the 6th, a body was located in a body of water, Mariners Lake. Around 3 p.m. on Monday, the fire department went into that water and moved her to a closer embankment where a medical examiner specialist, our forensic detectives, or forensic technicians and detectives responded, along with myself and several other members of our city administration, our department. The individual that was removed, as we told you, it was identified as Marwa, and we'll get into that about how that identity took place. But initially at the bank, clothing matched the outfit that Marwa wore to school that day, that we saw her on the bus, and when we picked her up on camera footage in our city. The last place she was seen by our technology was at the embankment of Gatewood and Warwick Boulevard. That is the same area that we have searched multiple times with our boat in the water, with sonar, with our park rangers, with their FLIR system, our drones, multiple canine tracks utilizing our Bloodhound. Again, drones in the air. We have walked that wooded area, biked that wooded area multiple times. We've canvassed the surrounding neighborhoods, even other groups that went door to door and knocked and searched in that same area. The reason we focused so hard there is because that was the last place that she was seen. We saw her again walking from where she got off the bus casually, but where she goes out of camera view is right at the embankment at that intersection. When the investigator responded, initially, they will send an investigator from the medical examiner's office to see what we have. Preliminary, that investigator did not see any signs of foul play. Because of the clothing and believing that it could possibly Marwa, myself and other individuals carried her from the embankment up. Part of that is the closeness that I felt with that family. I've met with them multiple times here at police headquarters. I've had tea at their house and conversations. On Tuesday, I went again to share with the family that there was a possibility that this could be their daughter. And that was hard. Because of the diversity in our department, we have individuals who are familiar with that culture and speak that language, and they were able to talk directly. The father, Noor, and I have had good conversations, and his children, but being able to talk directly and translate directly to Marwa's mom was important to me, and things that she asked and things that she said. We left with embrace, handshakes, and thank you. Thank you so much for what the department has done and being the compassion you showed our family. She did ask me, and I think the mayor alluded to it, that we respect their privacy. And I promised her to do that. One of the reasons that we're here today. We're talking, so yesterday the autopsy was performed. Detective Rivera and forensic technician Waller were at the medical examiner's office while that autopsy was conducted. Now, if you remember back when we did the press conference last week, we talked about all the strategies that we put, the number of man hours that we had placed, and what we had had so far in the investigation did not show any signs of endangerment or foul play, anything nefarious at the time. But our concern is it's still a 16-year-old girl, a beautiful 16-year-old girl that we don't know where she is. And that was our number one priority, is to try to find her and locate her and use all the resources we had to do that. And when you connect with a family, that matters. The medical examiner stated that someone in that condition, it appears they've been submerged in water or been in water, a body of water, for about 2.5 to 3 weeks, which is consistent. On Monday, when we located Marwa, and again, just this evening would be our 3-week time frame. In that autopsy, the medical examiner talked with the detective and forensic technician that there were no signs of struggle, that she did not see any signs of strangulation, that there was no signs of sexual assault, there was no signs of trauma. And we asked the medical examiner, do you see any signs of foul play? And her response was no. I know that still leaves questions. The way we identified, because when you're in water, it can distort some of the ways we traditionally do identifications, fingerprints, dental records. When you're in, some of that can be distorted. But she was identified. Great work. I want to thank the medical examiner's office, all those involved. She was identified by her dental records. That happened yesterday around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and myself and Detective Rivera and our translator went with us to brief the family and tell them to make the final confirmation about 5 o'clock yesterday. Again, so a lot of emotion, hugs, and handshakes, and thank yous. And that's, like the mayor said, this is not the outcome. Even in the press conference, we put a direct message. We just want to know that you're okay. No one's in trouble. We just want to know that you're okay. From the backpack that was left on the bus, the laptop was thrown in the ditch and walking away. So there's still some unanswered questions that we have. There's still some toxicology report, like anything that was in her system, but that takes 6 to 8 weeks to come back. So there's still some things that we're looking at. But I thought it was important today, and again, out of the respect for their family, to meet with them and share with the community what we know at this time. And with that, Mayor, if we want to take any questions.
Yeah, we'll take brief questions.
Okay, welcome back into Live Impact News. We are going to move away from that press conference now. Obviously, you can tell just from that statement how much this case and that family has impacted Chief Drew. The emotion, clear and palpable from listening to him speak. We're not going to do the question and answer portion. We ran this press conference in its entirety on this morning's Live Impact News. We're going to move forward now and look into some different headlines here, but keeping the Barakzai family, of course, in our thoughts during what is an impossibly difficult time. Okay, let's take a brief commercial break. When we get back, we've got more news to discuss. All right, welcome back to Live Impact News. We're going to stay local. We're actually going to go to another live local event. This is the State of the City in Chesapeake. Let's head out there live. Our own Madison Schlegel and Connor Lambert are there covering this as we speak, and we can take a live look into, once again, the State of the City in Chesapeake.
But we're on schedule. We're expected to be done with construction third quarter next year, and we'll be fully operational by first quarter 2028. As part of that project, we are building the 660 feet tower, which is part of our manufacturing process, which actually will be the tallest building in Virginia. And not only in Virginia, but between Philadelphia and Charlotte. So you'll see this building go up relatively soon. And as part of the facility, we're building 750,000 square foot facility. And 750,000 square foot is equal to 12 football fields under one roof. So it's a massive facility we're building. And that's just phase one. So there are more phases to come. There are a few things we need to kind of work on, but I think that there will be additional phases to that project. And last December, we announced another project, which was additional $689 million investment. It's a trio of 3 businesses going into one campus. One is copper recycling, second is magnet wire, which goes into electric motors. And third is rare earth magnets, which also go into motors, but they also go into guided missiles and advanced fighter jets, and there's a lot of military applications to that. So that business is also coming to Chesapeake, and we'll probably break ground for that facility later this year. So there'll be another celebration to have together. Maybe around holiday time. Maybe that'll be our Christmas party. And again, so between the two, this is about $1.5 billion investment, but I think there's a lot more to come. And hopefully next year I'll be up here again to talk about another project. So we want to continue to partner with the city and their leadership. And there are a lot of people here that we really need to thank. And Chesapeake Economic Development, Stephen Wright, thank you so much. I think Stephen probably had full set of hair before he met us. And,
So Patrick, let me ask you a question before you get out. You could have brought these companies to anywhere in the world, in the United States or any other country. You chose Chesapeake. Can you tell us in a couple of sentences why?
Well, I think one is this partnership that we have with the city and the leadership and everyone here. I mean, at the end of the day, friends do business together. So I think we consider everyone here as friends. And especially after the first project, the second project could have gone elsewhere. And as you know, it was actually supposed to go to another site that we already have. But we decided to bring that to Chesapeake, and that project also will continue to grow on its own. So it's a partnership that we formed with the city and the region as well. I think I really need to thank the Chesapeake Economic Development, also everyone at the city, Chris Price, Brian Solis, everyone. Also Doug Smith with Hampton Roads Alliance helped a lot as well. But most importantly, I mean, Mayor West, I think we've been a great partner. We had a lot of fun conversations, and I think there's more fun conversations that we'll have. And also City Council, thank you so much. I think that the decisions that you guys make, it shapes the city and the region for generations. So I think what City Council and also Planning Commission as well, I think what City Council and Planning Commission do is very important. So again, I really thank all of you, including Mayor West, for our partnership, and hopefully we'll do a lot more.
Thank you. Wow, we really appreciate what you're doing in Chesapeake, and we look forward to continuing working with you, Patrick. You're an awesome leader and just a good person, a fun person to be with. So, small town feeling. You can talk about it, you can act like you were doing that, but unless you really, your entire staff is operating with those same values, it's just talk. So I mentioned earlier that I'd be asking Mr. Price to come and talk a little bit more about what we do to promote that small town feeling. Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity to speak at your State of the City, or as Councilmember Newens referenced to me earlier, the one day a year I wear a tie to work. So thank you. Really appreciate that. Everyone in the room probably knows Chesapeake is the second largest city in Virginia. You might not know that it's one of the 100 largest cities in America. Does that surprise anybody? 100 largest cities in America. So I was surprised when I saw that. And if you think about those 100 largest cities in America, a lot of those cities are losing population. And in Chesapeake, of course, we're gaining population. So we continue to grow on that list of the largest cities in America. So how do we keep a small town feel, even as we become one of the bigger cities in the country? And it's really, really purposeful. We really lean into the unique things that make Chesapeake special. So if you all have an image in your mind of what it means to be Chesapeake, I can promise you that that's probably something that's on our mind about things that are special to the community that we need to make sure as an entire team that we preserve. So some of the things that come to my mind are having a very family-friendly atmosphere with a really high quality of life. We have the lowest taxes and fees in the region. We have a really strong and resilient and growing economy, as you just heard. But even while we have that strong and growing economy, we really work to preserve our small town feel and our rural character. We have excellent public schools, and we're a really, really safe community. So those are some of the things that Chesapeake is and has always been, and the community always wants it to be. So for us as a team, it's really important that we make sure that that's what the community wants, so that's what we're going to make happen every single day. Now, I'm a former economic developer, right? So I'm in sales, and so economic developers always put the shiniest face on a story. But don't take my word for it. We are nationally recognized in a lot of these elements. So if you think about safest cities in America, Chesapeake is always one of the safest cities in the country. We always are listed as some of the best schools in the Commonwealth. And really, those two things are why most families choose to move here. But they wouldn't move here if we didn't have quality job opportunities. And so for all the things we just mentioned, we work really hard every day to make sure we have those opportunities. And as you just heard, last spring, we set the record for the biggest investment in the region's history. And last fall, we broke that record. So great things happening in Chesapeake. In terms of public safety, I mentioned being one of the safest cities in America, but that doesn't happen by accident. We really invest in our team. We invest in our facilities. We're investing in some transformative facilities for the city right now that really started with some of the great work that former Chief Elliott did several years ago to start planning for our future. We had a growth spurt. We got behind in some infrastructure. We're now playing catch up, and we want to make sure we don't do that again. So we have first-class facilities for our public safety teams that we're building now. We've just opened some. We'll be doing many more openings in the future. And we're about to have a groundbreaking for a state-of-the-art public safety training facility to make sure that our team has the tools and the training from day one to be successful, not just to provide services for the community, but to make sure our team members go home safe every night. We are always listed as among the best-run cities in America. And the mayor and I talk about this a lot. This has less to do with us as leaders of the organization and more to do about the values of the community that we serve. So if you think about what goes into those metrics of the best run cities in America, it is really high citizen satisfaction, low taxes and fees. Those lists are measure of values. And probably the greatest accomplishment we can have as an organization is to say that our community, our residents, our businesses, they value making the choice to live in Chesapeake, and they think that choice is a good value for them and their families. And so every year, our 4,000 team members are laser focused on making sure we deliver an outstanding value to our community. Now, I could talk about a lot of projects that we're doing, infrastructure projects, economic development projects, but really, if you boil it down, if you want to have a big city with a small town feel, it really is all about the people. And we have 4,000 team members that every day are laser focused on making Chesapeake the city that cares. It is not a slogan. It is our core values are providing outstanding small town customer service. And I thought through this, what are some examples that we could give to show that we really, really mean this? So I'd like you to take a look at this video of just one example of how our team members make Chesapeake the city that cares.
Hi, I'm Brian Claffey, and I work at the Customer Contact Center.
So go online and give us a call.
Good afternoon. This is Brian. May I have the nature of your call? We are the one-stop shop for everything. If you've got a question about something, about anything city-related, city government-related, you can call us and we'll get you to the right people if we can't handle it ourselves. And there's a lot of things that we can do ourselves. Oh, we get a lot of calls from people moving in for the first time, and we give them a rundown of all the services they can get. We have a large population that's military in DOD, and they're not sure that they've lived in different areas, so we can get them all sorted out and get them to the right people and get them the answers they need. Right. Well, I can tell you that, yeah, you absolutely do need a permit on that now. I can have zoning call you back. Or you can go into the second floor, City Hall, right up there to the desk and go, hey, this is what I want.
Good afternoon, this is Rosa. Can I help you?
We try to make sure that everyone gets an answer to what they need. They have some sort of solution. I mean, most of the time it's something the city can do. It's amazing. If it's something we can't do, we can't handle, we'll give them alternatives. And here are some other things you can try, and these are other numbers you can call. So we're trying never to be a dead end, never to be the no people. I can give you the phone number, and then I'll get you transferred. We're not afraid to ask one another. I mean, a lot of us have been here for quite a while, and there's always someone who's got a really good answer. So this is a great group. I mean, surprisingly, it's bulk trash. People have got all sorts of things they want picked up, and they want to know if the city services it. But washers, dryers, hot water heaters, couches, big screen TVs, all that stuff is all fair game. You just have to reserve an appointment for it. But that's probably the most common question. All you gotta do is call. We'll call the people who are in charge, and they'll go above and beyond. All right, you take care. All right, here you go. Thank you. Bye-bye. I'm Brian Claffey, and this is How I Care.
And I believe Brian's here with us today. Brian, if you could stand up and be recognized. So we have dozens of videos of our team members that we share with the rest of our team, demonstrating how we provide caring service for our community, really that small town customer service. The reason I picked this particular video to share with you all today is we are clearly living in an age of AI where you could replace a lot of customer service functions with AI applications. And certainly as a big organization, we are using AI to make our teams more productive, help them have the tools and the resources to be more successful, slow the growth of the government. So we use it for a variety of reasons. What we are not doing is using it in a way that will sacrifice our small town feel. It's not something that our customers want. It's not something that our community or our city council wants. It's not something that I want as a leader of the organization. And it's really not something our team members want. AI can be a wonderful tool, but it doesn't care about who's on the other end of the call. And if it does, that'd be kind of scary, right? Hopefully that day is a long day off. But I know that our team members care about the customer that's on the other end of that call. So Brian, to you and your teammates, thank you. And to Mayor West, City Council, and to the community, I just want to say on behalf of our 4,000 team members, we are really blessed and fortunate to serve a world-class city and an all-American small town. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Chris. And on behalf of council and I, we just really appreciate you and your team for all that you do. It takes great people to run a city, and it takes it also takes great people to create a strong, trained, caring workforce to make businesses successful. And strong workforces begin with education at all different levels. I'm going to ask Superintendent Jared Cotton to come forward, and school board members that are here, would you come also. And while he's coming forward, I will tell you, our school board does a great job. We're so excited about the job that they do for our city. School board has a lot of hard decisions to make, and I think they have one of the most difficult decisions to make now at this time. They have to find someone to fill the shoes of this Great Bridge High School graduate who since 2018 has served as our hometown as a superintendent of school. And of course, I'm talking about Dr. Jared Cotton. Dr. Cotton, they say that education is the key to success. So I want to present this key to our city for your success, because of all of your success.
Sure, I'd be glad to say a couple words. How are we doing this afternoon? Wow, there's a lot of people here. First of all, I would like to thank my school board for all of their support, because we couldn't do what we do without their support. I would like to thank my lovely wife, Joanna, who's here, joined me today. I couldn't understand why you wanted to be here. Now I know. So I appreciate all that you do. And of course, Mr. Mayor, she told me not to embarrass her either, so I'm going to quickly move on. So proud of our school division, all that we do, and as I look around the room, we have so many people here who support us. I appreciate all the talk about people and partnerships, because I said, regardless of anything I do, we have such great people here in our city. And I'm so proud to work with all of our partners. As I look around the room, we've accomplished a lot of great things for students each and every day to engage, inspire, and empower our students all the way through high school and, of course, beyond. And I'm proud to say that I am a product of Chesapeake Public Schools. I went to school at Crestwood Intermediate. I graduated from Great Bridge High School. Go Wildcats. And of course, I became a fifth grade teacher in the same classroom where I was once a fifth grade student. So I came full circle, and I had the amazing experience, which I won't talk about all of that, where I was the assistant principal for this amazing leader here, our mayor, who was part of my leadership journey in helping me to develop into the leader I am today. And of course, I'm so honored to serve my community, the community that helped nurture me. So thank you for this amazing honor. It was unexpected, which is why I'm rambling, but I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for supporting our great city. Thank you.
So how small town does that get? Went to school here, taught here, and now superintendent. So, you know, we talked earlier about a hospital that was created by small town values and small town energies. I want to conclude this presentation by just going back to the words of the song that you heard by Mellencamp. He said he was educated in a small town, must have been Chesapeake. You just heard about it. He said he was taught the fear of Jesus in a small town, and we've heard from our pastor, and we know from the people that pray for us how important that is to us. As a matter of fact, we as a city unabashedly proclaiming God we trust on our vehicles. He says, He says in another line, I had myself a ball in this small town. I told you earlier, well, you know, as we were kids, Steve, we always look at one another. We try to get a ball game organized in the backyard or whatever. But there were times where it was really boring. But we always said we could go to Virginia Beach, we could go to Norfolk, go to Portsmouth, find a little entertainment. You know, guess what? We don't have to do that anymore. It's right here in Chesapeake. He says, I could breathe in a small town, and we do indeed cherish our open spaces, our rural heritage, and our opportunity to connect with nature. He says that we've got nothing against a big town, and we are committed to becoming a big region, as we have talked about earlier. He says that people, let me be just what I want to be in a small town, and we as a city are welcoming, inclusive, and open for business. Now I say to you, go out and find some of that small town and have fun. God bless and thank you for your time.
Okay, ending with a bang there in Chesapeake. Now, you can get plenty more on that event. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock news right here on 13 News Now. Madison Schlegel will have a full recap, but nice that we're able to listen in to a local live event here today on Impact News. Now, speaking of live events, we have another live event that's setting up right now based out of Durham, North Carolina, that is, as far as we know, going to be speaking about immigrant worker rights from the nonprofit Siembra NC. I believe they'll be speaking about a very specific situation, and that is correct. This will be family and community members of 2 elementary school students detained and deported by ICE to Honduras. That is a live event that we're monitoring right now. You can actually see in the top corner there as they're setting up for that press conference. We're keeping an eye on that. If that goes live, we will go out to that event. We're going to get a commercial break in now. We're going to monitor that, and we've got some other things we want to get to in the meantime, so please stay with us. First, a break. That press conference, welcome back, first of all, everybody. Sorry for just jumping in like that. That press conference that we teased right before we went to break has begun. This is Durham, North Carolina. This is a nonprofit, members of the community and other family, speaking about 2 students detained and deported by ICE to Honduras, 2 elementary school students. Let's go live out to Durham, North Carolina right now.
That should alarm all of us. Because if children that are attending school in Durham can be kidnapped by agents through the back of a building in the middle of the day and deported after doing everything right, then what we're seeing is not enforcement for public safety. This is the dismantling of any promise of safety. And we are not standing still in the face of this. We're stepping up our efforts to ensure that no one has to attend these appointments alone. Siembra NC is building out a network of trained community members and volunteers who can accompany individuals and families to their check-ins, to witness, to document, and to stand with them. If you or someone you know has an upcoming immigration appointment, you can contact Siembra NC through our hotline. And the number is 336-543-0353, and we will connect you with accompaniment. And at this moment, We're also asking the community to come together to support this family. They were deported with none of their belongings, nothing, just the clothes on their back. And they're now trying to rebuild their lives from the ground up. We will be sharing more information on how to contribute to a support fund for the family so that Genesis, Dennis, and their parents have what they need to begin again. Details on how to contribute to a support fund will be available on our social media channels at Siembra NC. No family should be forced to start over without support from the community that loves them, and this is their community that loves them. North Carolinians also deserve to know how many of our kids are being detained and deported in the middle of the school year. The Department of Homeland Security should make a commitment to release this information, and our U.S. senators should make sure we know what is happening to our kids behind closed doors. We will continue to fight to make sure that no other family will experience this. Every family deserves due process, and we deserve full transparency. This family deserves dignity, and they deserve safety. Thank you. We will now have a few speakers, and we will leave questions to the very end.
Good afternoon. My name is Micah Tweetmeyer. I am the president of the Durham Association of Educators. I've worked in Durham Public Schools for the past 18 years, and I'm here to share a statement from Mr. Daniel, Genesis's 5th grade teacher at Burton Elementary School. Yesterday, I had to call Mr. Daniel and share news with him in a similar fashion to a call I received in January of 2016 and let him know and his coworkers that 2 of their students had been detained by ICE and wouldn't be coming back to school. This happened to me and my colleagues in 2016 when Wilden was arrested on his way to Riverside High School. Genesis is an important part of our classroom and school community. She is a smart young lady with a bright future. She is a hard worker who never misses school. She is a little scientist and mathematician in our classroom. She is always ready to explore, experiment, and learn. She is always ready to help others learn. She is a giving little girl who leads with her heart. Her character comes from her family. They are loving, kind, and work hard to support their children. They deserve our love and support. I hope we can do something to help Genesis and her family. We are lost without her. We miss her smile. We miss her laughter. We miss her tremendously. Mr. Daniel, 5th grade teacher. Mr. Daniel, 5th grade teacher, Burton Elementary School, Durham Teacher of the Year, 2020. My heart goes out to Mr. Daniel and the staff at Burton Elementary School. DAE stands with the family and the Burton school community and is committed to supporting in every way possible. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Y'all can talk back to me. Good afternoon. My name is Brandon Ruffin. I'm a worker leader and an elected committee member of the Union of Southern Service Workers, also known as USSW. And I'm from Durham, North Carolina. This morning I received word that a family seeking asylum was taken by ICE in our city, including children, 11 and 8 years of age. Let's be clear. Children should not be detained. Families seeking asylum are not criminals. They are exercising a legal right protected under U.S. and international law. Due process is not optional. It is a constitutional guarantee. And what we're seeing right now raises serious questions about whether that standard is being upheld. This is not just policy, people. This is about people, human beings, humanity. It's about children being pulled away from safety, education, and stability. That is so wrong. Immigrant rights are human rights. So I'm calling on our elected officials, uphold the Constitution fully. Ensure this family is treated with dignity and given due process, and allow a fair opportunity to seek asylum. And to our community, do not stay silent. What we accept today becomes the standard of tomorrow. We cannot allow Durham or this country to normalize the separation and harm of families who are simply seeking safety and a chance to live freely. We all deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. This is what this country claims to stand for. And it's time that we demand that it actually does it. I also want to thank everyone who made the decision to come to the secondary location and continue standing with this community and this family. And let me address something directly, really quickly. I apologize to this family and to our brothers and sisters who had to witness the unacceptable, disruptive, and divisive behavior from individuals like Victoria Peterson, who chose to come against people standing for justice instead of standing with us. Let me be clear. When you hurt one of us, you hurt all of us. This is not about whether this family is black or not. This is about justice. This is about human beings receiving fair and equal treatment under the law. Yes, I agree with her. Black people in this country have been and still are targeted by a deeply flawed and unjust system. That is real. That is undeniable. But that truth should never, ever be used as an excuse to turn against our brown brothers and sisters. If anything, it should push us to stand with them, even stronger, because we know what it means to be targeted. We know what it means to be treated unfairly. We know what it means to fight for dignity in a system that often denies it. So we don't divide, we stand together. Anyone who is okay with this type of treatment and this illegal kidnapping, I question your care for humanity. I question your care for this community. I question your care for this country. And I question your care for this city we call home, Durham. We demand justice, and we are not backing down until we get it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm State Senator Sophia Chitlick, and I am a mom and the great-granddaughter of immigrants who fled persecution to come to this country, not unlike the parents of Dennis and Genesis. I stand in front of you today with a broken heart for these two wonderful children and their parents who are members of our community, and also for our nation in this moment. I want to be clear that none of this is normal. None of it is acceptable, and we will not stand in silence while children are kidnapped and deported without due process. They came here seeking a better life. They found community, and what has happened is profoundly wrong, and I want to be crystal clear about it. We might not be able to stop what is happening, but we can ensure that we can expose it, and we can call for the transparency that our law necessitates. So I'm here to announce that along with my colleagues on County Commission and on City Council and on School Board, that many of us have agreed to provide protective presence as requested, so that no one in our community feels like they need to go into a regular immigration hearing or meeting by themselves. We will be witnesses, and to the extent possible, we will document what is happening, and we will help to provide rapid response assistance. For everyone watching this, I want you to know that your elected officials stand with you, and that we will do everything we can to get justice and transparency for everyone who lives in our community. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bettina Umstead, Chair of Durham Public Schools Board of Education. While this incident didn't happen on our campus, we know we're all impacted by what is happening to the neighbors in our community. A father, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a brother. And this overreach of federal law enforcement around immigration is impacting us all. The public school system has activated student support services, support our kids. We also have employment assistance to support our educators. But this is tragic that people in our community are impacted. What I saw last fall is when Durham gets together, we fight and we can win. And so I encourage us as a community to remember that our liberation is bound with each other, that Black folks and immigrants and white folks, our neighbors and community is connected. And if we fight together for our neighbors, we can win. This is not over, right? And our support for the family will continue. Thank you.
I think we are ready to take questions.
How did this case come to the attention of Siembra NC, and do you know what legal authority ICE cited in detaining and deported the family, if at all?
So we have a hotline where community members whose family members have been detained can call us, and a family member, the aunt who is here with us, is the one that alerted us to the detention. They were given very little information. Their phones were taken away, their documents were taken away, and they were basically told to wait in a room. And from the family member's perspective, she was outside the office in Charlotte waiting for them when she got a call from a private number saying that she should go home because her family would not be coming out.
You said the family was deported without due process. What specific rights do you believe were violated?
So we haven't been able to make contact. They arrived very late in the middle of the night, actually, last night to Honduras, or sometimes very late. So we haven't spoken to them directly, but we know that if their phones were taken away, they probably did not have any access to their legal representation. We also know that it is documented practice for agents to pressure people under those very vulnerable circumstances, sometimes to sign things that they might not understand they're signing, or when we think about the choices that they're given, a choice, it would be maybe deportation or being taken to a family detention center. And as caring parents, they're probably facing a very tough decision. So if they didn't have any access to legal counsel or their options, then that's not due process.
What can you tell us about their asylum claim?
I can't tell you much about that. So this family has been here for the last 4 years, and they have attended every single check-in. So they were doing exactly what they're supposed to do. When folks are in asylum, sometimes depending on their specific case, they have to do yearly check-ins at ICE offices, and these are routine check-ins. They're supposed to show up and say, hey, this is where we live, we're here, we're still complying until our asylum case is decided. And this is what this family was doing for the past 4 years, every single year. That's why they had no idea that this was a risk, because this is the 4th year that they've gone there, which is a routine check-in.
Have there been any discussions about appealing the deportation or any discussions with representatives in Washington about further action on this?
No, not yet, especially because this is this just happened. In fact, when we organized this press conference, we were calling for their release and to figure out where they were, because the aunt had not been able to speak to them. They were virtually disappeared for almost 2 days because they appeared on the ICE locator, but it did not list which facility they were in, and they were not allowed to make a phone call. So our initial ask was, where are Genesis and Dennis? I actually don't know that at the moment. Yes.
When I found out about this, I immediately called representatives of our federal senators to demand information transparency, and also to not just about this particular case, but also to better understand how many more children has this happened to in our country. How many more children have been disappeared in the middle of the school year? What is the frequency that this is happening? At a very minimal level, we need DHS to provide us with this information about what is happening to children living in America right now. So we've called upon them to provide us with this data, and I encourage you to reach out to our senators to get the data that we need, because it's going to take all of us to get the minimum viable transparency that's required to hold DHS accountable for these actions and to understand where violations of American law have occurred. Remember, these are people who came here for asylum. They have specific protections for their individual status, and people who come here seeking asylum have a legitimate claim on harm in their home countries. So the risk of sending them back into an unknown environment is extremely high. So I can't really overstate how grave this is, how serious this is, and how concerned we need to be. I also want to elevate the concern that we have about children in ICE detention facilities. Obviously, that's not the instance here, but we also have very little transparency about how many children are in ICE detention and the conditions that they find themselves in. This is a very serious situation, and it is happening right here in our country.
What kind of impact is this having on other immigrant families in Durham?
I think anytime there's a detention, regardless of the circumstance, it creates a lot of fear in the family. There's some of Dacia, the mother's coworkers that are here supporting, and there's some that were afraid because they thought if this happened to Dacia, could it happen to us? So I think the impact is fear, but the impact that we're also seeing is solidarity. We have a lot of coworkers of Dacia that are here. So I think it's both fear and a lot of solidarity.
What are your words for, I want to say, federal officials who argue that this deportation is lawful?
I wanted to say, can you repeat that question, please?
What are your words for federal officials who argue that this deportation is lawful?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to answer that question by way of answering the previous question that you asked, which is this family was doing everything right. So I think one of the impacts that this is having is if we do everything according to the law, which is what the federal authorities are telling people to do, we can still get kidnapped in the middle of the day and taken away. So what are people supposed to do if they're doing things right and they're still getting detained? What are you supposed to do if you're a 6-year-old who has been here for 4 years, who knows no other school and no other community, and your family is doing everything the quote-unquote right way, and this can still happen? Then what are we doing here?
Can we confirm that Dennis and Genesis are with their parents?
They are with their parents.
Do we have family members here? Do we have family members here?
The family member, there is a family member here, is the aunt that was here, that was there when this happened. It's just a very difficult moment. Things move very rapidly, so she's here but will not be giving interviews.
What kind of protection can the city of Durham realistically provide in instances?
And can I throw on school boards that? I know you all have been working on the immigration and enforcement policy throughout the fall, so I just throw a school board on that.
Okay, you guys want to say the question? Yeah.
Yeah, our city council members are right now in our work session, or else they would be here present as well. But as Senator Sophia Chitlik mentioned, there are ways that us as elected officials, the county commissions, school board, our state legislators are stepping up to stand with our neighbors if they need accompaniment to their appointments, and nobody should have to go to these appointments alone, nor should anyone be going to these appointments alone. And somebody with them that they can call the Siembra hotline, and they'll reach out to us to help schedule and coordinate for us to support them in these appointments.
Okay, so multiple speakers taking the podium, questions and answers all happening in Durham, North Carolina at an event held by Siembra NC. It's a nonprofit focused on immigrant worker rights based in North Carolina. That's according to NPR.org. And thanks to our ABC Live channels, we know that particular press conference featured family and community members of 2 elementary school students detained and deported by ICE to Honduras. We will continue with any further updates on that story that may come our way. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to take a brief break. When we come back, we have a live event involving hospice fraud. We have another live event that's setting up in Washington, D.C. Of course, the Artemis II remains on its way back to Earth, set to splash down tomorrow night. Much more news to come right after this.
Public inquiry.
All right, welcome back to Live Impact News here on 13 News Now Plus. As always, 2:28 p.m. We got about a quarter of the show left to go. There's an event happening live in California now. California Attorney General Rob Bonta was at the podium. Other officials now speaking about a case of fraud in the hospice care system. This is something we heard about from federal officials not too long ago, or at least federal officials were speaking about hospice fraud. And then we can connect the dots there amongst the details of the cases. So we're going to go live out to California and listen in now for more details.
To act decisively when we see evidence of fraud in the programs we administer. I want to also thank Director Boss, the Director of Healthcare Services. As you heard, what we found, the Department of Healthcare Services uncovered a large, organized identity theft and hospice fraud scheme that used thousands of stolen identities to exploit the Medi-Cal program. As you heard, the scheme involved 14 fraudulent hospice providers operating as part of a transnational criminal network, mirroring broader fraud trends that we are seeing across the country. These fraudulent providers generated, again, more than $267 million in improper hospice billing. From start to finish, including the complaint, investigation, referral to law enforcement, and finally successful prosecution, fraud investigations often take years. However, there are immediate actions taken to address what we find. The Department of Healthcare Services Audit Investigation Unit and the Department of Justice's Division of Medi-Cal Fraud and Elder Abuse work together to identify the bad actors using fraud analytics and reviewing external reports. California counties helped us rapidly disenroll fraudulent members and protect legitimate members. Managed care plans helped flag the initial concerns and helped stop managed care payments. The California Department of Public Health acted swiftly to revoke licenses. This is the kind of cross-departmental collaboration that we have embedded as a key component of our program integrity infrastructure. The Department of Healthcare Services also halted payments and suspended all fraudulent hospice providers, immediately stopping further misuse of these stolen identities. Again, more than thousands of fraudulent Medi-Cal enrollments were disenrolled, many tied to individuals in other states who had no idea their identities were being used. When we find fraudulent cases, we also reassess our program integrity systems to identify ways we can further strengthen the safeguards in our Medi-Cal program. In this case, we have taken additional actions, making sure hospice claims can only be paid when the right documentation is in place. We are using a faster and more secure online process, and we're adding stronger checks to prevent fake applications or stolen identities from getting into the system. Our responsibility is to protect those participating in the safety net and ensure program dollars are used for the people who are eligible and truly need these services. Any misuse of stolen identities or improper billing is unacceptable and undermines the trust Californians place in this program. So again, thank you to every partner, many of whom are here today, who helped bring this scheme to light, and for your continued efforts to safeguard Medi-Cal and additional safety net programs and hold perpetrators accountable, including through criminal prosecution. We're grateful for this partnership. We will continue to take action as we see steps, and we have the systems in place to really address this across the broader safety net. Attorney General, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, Secretary. Again, appreciate the partnership that brought us to this moment and this day to make this important announcement. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Mr. Bonte, if I may, you mentioned 5 arrests, 21 suspects. Can you share the names of the people arrested, and where are the 21 suspects? And the locations, you mentioned 10 are being investigated. What were they? Were they office buildings? Were they houses? Can you give us more detail
Yeah.
on those
Yeah.
figures?
We can share the names afterwards if they're shareable at this point. The different locations include, they're mostly residents with some business locations, so it was a mix at the 10. We have notices appear out for the folks that have not been, are not a part of the 5 that we've already arrested, and we're in active pursuit right now since yesterday of a handful as well. So all of the 21 are accounted for either through an arrest, an active arrest effort, or a notice to appear.
Do the locations have any sort of medical equipment at all?
There was no. One interesting point about this is that there was no medical service provided. So there's no medical professional among the criminal defendants because there was no medical service provided. There were straw purchases of hospice care programs, and so there could be medical equipment, but it wasn't used to provide any care. So this was a front with no services actually provided. And as you know, when someone is enrolled on hospice, they are not able to get the normal non-hospice care that they would get. They're shunted into a different pathway that's hospice only. They're supposed to be terminally ill and towards the end of their life, so they don't get the care, the prevention care, the wellness care that they would normally get. So it's very harmful to the patients.
Okay, we're back here in the Live Impact studio as that press conference continues, because the First Lady has actually just taken the podium for a special announcement. So what we're going to do is we're going to go live out to Washington, D.C. and listen into this announcement and at least see what is being discussed for the time being.
Never been legally accused or convinced of a crime in connection with Epstein sex trafficking, abuse of minors, and other repulsive behavior. The false smears about me from mean-spirited and politically motivated individuals and entities looking to cause damage to my good name, to gain financially and climb politically, must stop. My attorneys and I have fought these unfounded and baseless lies with success and will continue to maintain my sound reputation without hesitation. To date, several individuals and companies have been legally obligated to publicly apologize and retract their lies about me, such as Daily Beast, James Carville, and HarperCollins UK. Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth. Thank you.
For Secretary Lutnick to continue serving.
Okay, a relatively brief announcement from First Lady Melania Trump there, as we look to try and summarize that statement. We came in a little later on in the statement. You heard some of the topics that she was touching on, and I think that we may wait until we have a more clear understanding of exactly what that press conference was about before we give a full summary, as we came in after it had already begun. However, we can report that she was refuting accusations and claims against her. She was, basically defending herself against certain accusations that have been made by the public in different cases. So that much we know, and we are going to try to basically make sure that any summary that we give you is spot on as to what she was referring to. So we'll hold off on giving a full summary. However, we do know, based on just listening to it here on Live Impact News, that she was defending herself against certain accusations. We are going to make sure that we have all of that information exactly confirmed before we give it to you in terms of what accusations she's speaking about. We'll get that to you very shortly here. In the meantime, we can go back out to California, where Rob Bonta is currently still speaking about a potential fraud in the hospice care system in California. Let's listen in live right now.
Fourth largest economy in the world, the greatest state in the nation, the great state of California. So we expect that. Dr. Oz's comments are what we expect. They're no surprise. We like to work with the actual facts, the actual data, and do real work to tackle fraud instead of talking about it and putting cameras in our faces. Hospice fraud, it's definitely significant. And it's definitely, there are certain hot spots, if you will, like with any type of crime or illegal conduct, you can see and you should know about the different hot spots, the flare-ups, where there is more of it than in other places. There's a lot of it in Los Angeles County. There's no doubt about that. That's why we've been focusing on Los Angeles County and the neighboring counties as well. We've been in the Inland Empire. We've been in Riverside. We've been in San Bernardino. We do the work wherever it is. But yes, there's hospice fraud. It's all over the country. The country includes California, and California includes Los Angeles County.
So if there's so much fraud, does that mean you're not doing enough monitoring? Are you guys not on the ball enough to prevent this kind of fraud? If there's so much of it.
Let me just be clear about who's committing the fraud. Criminals are committing the fraud. Bad actors are committing the fraud. People who are breaking the law are committing the fraud. They are responsible for their actions. They are responsible and should be held accountable for their fraud. My office spends a lot of time, and our focus is mostly, our lane is mostly investigations and prosecutions. We take down fraudsters. We identify fraudsters. We surveil them, determine their scheme, and then take them down and hold them accountable, arrest them, prosecute them, and put them in prison. That is our lane.
Sorry to interrupt. Why is this
There's fraud throughout the nation. I just want to be clear about that. I think you're repeating Dr. Oz's talking points on that one. California is the biggest state in the nation, so with anything, we're usually the biggest of anything. And so just on a pro rata population basis. To tackle fraud, it's going to take multiple entities working together. We invite the sincere good faith partnership of the federal government, should they wish to give that. We do not welcome politicization, misinformation, disinformation, political bludgeoning. But if they want to work with us, we want to work with them, and we have, including in a case the other day, that was another massive takedown where my investigators, my team, were on the ground talking to witnesses and serving subpoenas and engaged in surveillance and taking proffers, something that the federal government wanted to ignore. But there's also, as you mentioned, and I think your main point is prevention. There are important aspects and steps to be taken when it comes to prevention of the fraud, hardening the target, if you will. And the Secretary just spoke to a number of those efforts and addressing those.
We've known about this for years. This has been going on for years.
What has been going on for years?
This level of fraud.
There's been fraud since 1979 that we've been tackling. So, I mean, there's been crime since early days, too. I mean, the fact that we continue to have crime is not the fault of the police officers, the sheriff's deputies, the prosecutors. The criminals are the ones who are accountable for the crime that they commit. The fraudsters are the ones who are accountable for the fraud that they commit. Yes, we should harden the target. Yes, California has taken important steps in that regard. They have de-licensed multiple hospice providers. We have created a moratorium on new licenses since 2022. As the Secretary mentioned, they have tightened the processes for being able to be approved for providing hospice care and receiving payment for hospice care. That's super important. My team has also been involved in public service announcements and public outreach to make sure people know about the red flags. We've done billboards and radio ads, and we're also prosecuting people. And let me just be clear. Prosecution, what we do, investigation and prosecution, it does accomplishes many things, including accountability, but it is also a deterrent, which means it prevents others from being engaged in similar conduct when they know they'll get caught and they'll be going to prison if they engage in it. So prevention looks like a lot of different things, and California's on it.
In February, you said that claims of massive fraud in California were reckless and false. Do you want to change those statements?
No, I want to reiterate those.
I have a question about two particular cases. One is in the city of Azusa, and the other one in Northridge. In the first case, there was one doctor, Rahib Buba, for 2,800 patients and 126 hospices. He charged Medicare for $70 million. Is he being investigated so far or no? And the other one is Dr. Fariba Hababerian. She's a registered dermatologist, and she charged Medicare $35 million for 63 hospices. And her license was revoked. A license revoked, it is the only penalty for her. Why not criminal prosecution?
So a couple things. We have many hospice fraud cases that we've been engaged in. I mentioned the numbers and in the hundreds. And so we're happy to share with you any of the cases that are resolved, that are out of the investigation phase and either publicly are being prosecuted by us or a law enforcement partner. We do not comment on pending or potential investigations. And you've asked me if I'm investigating those cases. We do not comment on pending or potential investigations.
We have time for one more question.
I have a question. Out of the 21 suspects, how many are all or some of them associated with transnational criminal organizations, and did it involve other individuals outside of the country?
This was a complex organized criminal operation. But at this point, although there are some links to other countries, we don't believe that this was, we wouldn't describe this necessarily as transnational.
Mr. Reedy, can you help me understand why 20% of the total number of licenses for the entire country is coming out of LA County?
We don't do the licensing, so sorry, I can't. We do investigations and prosecutions. And I'm not sure that that data point is accurate either.
That's all the time we have.
May I ask a question of the Secretary?
Yeah, please.
Secretary, you had mentioned that hardening procedures are now in place. When did those hardening procedures come in place? And I may have follow-up depending upon your...
Sure. I think as you heard from the Attorney General, right, California has taken a number of steps. As we've seen increase in licensing of hospices, for example, we've established a moratorium that's been in place for the last 4 years. It's a direct action as a result of what we've seen. As I reference here in this case, what we do whenever we're finding any case of fraud is we're taking a look at what we can identify as root cause and putting in new additional protocols and steps where we see that they're necessary to build from. And so, again, whether it's really expediting and looking at different ways we're looking at data, adding fraud analytics based on patterns that we're seeing, these are all actions that we're directly taking as a result of what we're identifying, and then again strengthening our program integrity infrastructure.
So, forgive me, but when were those measures put in place? Was it recently, 2 years ago?
The moratorium was put in place in 2022. That means that no new licensed hospice providers could come online. And I think I just take the opportunity and appreciate the question. There's a lot of conversation about finding hospice addresses unlicensed settings. That, again, we license providers. So that's, again, out of the purview, and we want to make sure that people really understand that. There is a current moratorium that's currently in place through January of 2027 for no new licensed providers. So that's just again to provide clarity. So when we're seeing kind of reports of new things where people aren't providing services and they're not licensed, that's not a licensed hospice provider in California. So we appreciate the opportunity to provide that clarification.
Thank you all for that.
Thank you.
All right, so there you have it, the conclusion of that press conference based on a potential fraud scam within the hospice care system in California. Now, we're going to use this time to take one more commercial break. When we get back, we'll have an update on the war in Iran. We've got more information on what we just heard from Melania Trump, all of that coming up next. Okay, we'll give a brief update. Welcome back, everybody. We'll give a brief update on what we just heard from Melania Trump. We got to hear most of that press conference. We know that she was denying certain accusations that have been made, accusation against her. We didn't hear the very beginning of it, but we do have reports coming in quickly now. Melania Trump delivers statement at White House denying ties to Jeffrey Epstein and knowledge of his crimes. And that does match with sort of what we heard as that press conference moved forward. So a brief update on that. Now let's do an update on the war in Iran as it stands right now. Obviously, we know that as of yesterday, there was that ceasefire that was seemingly fragile when Israel continued attacks in Lebanon despite the ceasefire. Now, it was reported that Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump, had said that Lebanon was not a part of the ceasefire, but Iranian officials indicated that it was a part of the ceasefire. All of it led to the deadliest day in Lebanon since the war began on Wednesday. But today we get the update that Israel-Lebanon negotiations are expected next week in Washington. This is according to a person familiar with the matter via the Associated Press. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he had approved direct talks while the Lebanese government did not immediately respond. Now, Netanyahu did also say that there is no ceasefire in Lebanon and his country will keep striking Hezbollah. That, of course, is what we saw play out yesterday. But for now, negotiations are expected next week. The Strait of Hormuz still reportedly closed, according to the Associated Press, but there were no reports of strikes inside Iran or attacks against Israel or neighboring Gulf Arab countries, leaving Lebanon as the only country where the conflict is still burning, as of our most recent reports that we have gotten. Now, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we have given you all updates that we have before we move forward with some of our coverage here. The head of Israel's military says the mission is to keep weakening Hezbollah. You will see that they are fighting Hezbollah, but that conflict is playing out in Lebanon. They're fighting Hezbollah, and that fight is happening in Lebanon. That's why we continue to see these strikes. But again, this ceasefire, very gently and fragilely in place here. Those strikes in Lebanon have not seemed to have broken the ceasefire yet. However, it's something that the world is certainly watching. So we'll keep everyone updated as those updates continue to roll in. But for now, there appears to be the ceasefire agreement appears to be in place for the time being. So that is our update for today on the war in Iran, as everyone continues to watch Lebanon, continues to watch the entire Middle East, and continues to wait and see if a more permanent solution, a more permanent resolution can be found here. In the meantime, Democratic lawmakers calling for a vote on the War Powers Resolution. Congress has been on spring break for some time here. However, we heard from Democratic leaders today outside the Capitol building calling for that War Powers Resolution. Now, not just that, I think we maybe should go to that. Naya, I like where your head's at. Naya was a step ahead of me that entire time. We've got about 6 minutes in show. Let's listen in to Democratic lawmakers who are pushing for a War Powers Resolution. This was earlier today outside of Capitol Hill.
Have us back in session so that we would live up to our constitutional responsibilities. Article 1, Section 8. It is Congress who can declare war. It is not a self-serving president who is guided by Mr. Netanyahu for his own purposes. You know, the president was hired to do two things: to keep us.
There's a brief snippet from that gathering of lawmakers outside of the Capitol building. You can sort of understand the tone of that. We also heard from Hakeem Jeffries earlier today, who was at this conference that has been going on. This NAN conference has been happening all week. Now, we don't know exactly what Hakeem Jeffries had to say, but we have not heard from the House Minority Leader in some time. So why don't we listen in to comments from Hakeem Jeffries?
As this, Reverend Sharpton mentioned that I now have the honor and privilege of serving as the House Democratic leader. It was interesting when I made that transition, representing a district back in Brooklyn, of course, that the late, great Shirley Chisholm once represented. And so I'm proud to stand on her shoulders, a mentor of Reverend Sharpton. I came back home after the transition had been made. I was on Fulton Street and ran into one of my constituents who appeared to recognize me. He said, "Congressman, come over here for a moment." I said, "Sure, good to see you." He said, "Now, aren't you the congressman who a few years ago on the floor of the Senate during the Trump impeachment trial quoted the notorious B.I.G.?" I said, "Yeah, that was me." And he said, "Now, Congressman, as I understand it, you're the House Democratic leader, the highest-ranking Democrat in the United States Congress." I said, "Yeah, God is good." And then without missing a beat, he responded, Rev, by saying, "How the hell did that happen?" And so I had to think quickly on my feet, as Reverend Sharpton has taught us to do, and then it came to me. I said, "Well, you never thought that hip-hop would take it this far." But for us, in this challenging moment, it's all about the power of imagination. Imagining how we can get from where we are, challenging times, to where we need to go to make this country, in the midst of all the extremism, the best version of herself. That's what we have to do, because these are challenging times. We got a hater in the White House, haters in the Congress, and haters throughout the cabinet. But we're working on this. Watch this. Kristi Noem is gone. Pam Bondi is gone. And Pete Hegseth is next up. Challenging times, haters all around us, but we've got to continue to press our case. Now, this president has failed the American people in so many different ways, refuses to spend a dime to make life more affordable for you, but is spending billions of dollars to drop bombs in a reckless war of choice in the Middle East, failing the American people. He promised that he would lower the high cost of living on day one. We know costs haven't gone down in this country, costs have gone up.
All right, so it was brief, but it was worthwhile to hear from Hakeem Jeffries at the National Action Network conference that's been going on for multiple days now. We've had it on our live feed. We haven't been able to go to it much, but we do get to hear from the House Minority Leader there very briefly. Hakeem Jeffries speaking once again, and that'll do it for our live Impact News show for this afternoon. It is 2:59, and it was another busy show today. This entire week has been quite busy here on Live Impact News. We're happy that you have joined us for some of those busy days. We've only got one more day left this week. We've got Friday tomorrow. We hope to see you there. It's getting warmer outside. Springtime is feeling a little more like spring as we move through the week. And we just appreciate each and every one of you for spending time with us here on Live Impact News. We'll do it all again tomorrow, same time, same place. For Nia Campbell, I'm Connor Reel. See you tomorrow, everybody. See you on Friday.